Hello and a warm welcome to South Central on ET Now. This is India's first and only business bulletin that focuses exclusively on stories from South India. My name is Jude Sanad and these are the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Ahead of assembly elections in Tamil Nadu, allies Congress and DMK face off over a social media post by AIPC chairperson Praveen Chakravarti comparing the state's debt with that of Uttar Pradesh. Union Minister of Railways Ashwini Vaishnav announces doubling of train capacity in Chennai and Coimbatore by 2030. Expanded coach terminals and enhanced operational capacities are on the cards. As Indigo drops 130 flights across 94 routes in keeping with DGCA directives, Bengaluru Airport is the most impacted, followed by Hyderabad and Chennai. A study reveals that 37% of Karnataka's lakes are encroached. The capital city Bengaluru's urban areas are the most impacted, with 88% lakes plagued by encroachments. And on the show today, 2025 may have been the year of mammoth data center investments in South India, but 2026 holds the promise of so much more. That's the word coming in from real estate consultant JLL in this South Central special. Right, our top story today is an unexpected political face-off that seems to have hit the DMK out of the blue, and it's to do with the topic of Tamil Nadu's debt. Over the weekend, the All India Professionals Congress chairman Praveen Chakravarti shared a post on X comparing the state's debt with that of Uttar Pradesh. Chakravarti pointed out that Tamil Nadu's debt exceeded that of UP's in stark contrast to 2010 data, which showed UP's debt to be double that of Tamil Nadu's. Not surprisingly, the DMK has launched a stoic defense of the state's debt situation, with multiple voices pointing out that the data must be read in the context of state GDP. My colleague Dharni joins us with a roundup of this face-off ahead of elections next year.
Well, it looks like in recent times the DMK and the Congress, they have a lot of point of contentions. As you rightly said yesterday, we saw Tamil Nadu Congress Chief Selva Perendagai stating on record that this time they're going to demand a share in power from the DMK. And now we're looking at a tweet from Praveen Chakravarti, who is considered to be in the close quarters of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. He says that Tamil Nadu's debt has increased rapidly in the last 5 years. In 2021, Tamil Nadu's debt was around 5 lakh crores, and now it is almost close to 10 lakh crores. So in the last 5 years, the debt amount has literally doubled, is what Praveen Chakravarti is telling. And he's also going on to say that Uttar Pradesh is faring well in terms of the debt burden. That is the statement coming in from Praveen Chakravarti. But the DMK has a defense. They say that Tamil Nadu has a welfare-driven governance model. So the borrowings that they borrow from outside sources, they're being used to build hospitals, colleges, schools, and they're being used to increase the power capacity of the state, to establish a long-term infrastructure and to improve the social security. This is the type of governance model that Tamil Nadu is following. This is a welfare-driven model, and for this, the borrowings are largely used. And in fact, UP is witnessing a bulldozer model at the moment, a bulldozer governance model. And what Tamil Nadu is witnessing is a welfare-driven model. So there is a stark contrast between the types of governance between these two states, and it is not right to compare the economies of these two states and their social indicators, is what the DMK says at this point.
Moving on now, the Indian Railways is targeting a massive expansion drive in Chennai and Coimbatore, according to Union Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. The expansion plan, scheduled to be completed by 2030, will see doubling of all rail capacities in both cities in order to meet rising demand. According to communication released by Southern Railways, both Chennai and Coimbatore could see significant upgrades to coach terminals as well as enhanced section and operational capacities. Both cities were picked from a list of 48 stations that required upgrades. These stations are expected to see these upgrades include the iconic Egmore and Tambaram stations in Chennai, as well as the Podanur Junction in Coimbatore. My colleague Samir joins us with more updates.
Indian Railways is eyeing for a massive transformation of the railway network in South India, specifically the Southern Railway. And for the same, railway has identified a couple of important projects. What we are getting to know from railway official sources that 15 such projects have been identified. That includes the gauge conversion, the doubling and the tripling of the railway line, the electrification. And these 15 projects will have a cost expenditure that is above rupees 22,000 crore. And not just this, there are basically 4 pillars through which railway is looking to transform the railway network. The first one is the enhancing the operational and the sectional capacity by putting in more railway line, for example, doubling and tripling. These 15 projects runs to a railway length of around 1,700 kilometers. In addition to this, the Kavach safety mechanism that will help that the faster rollout of Kavach will help to increase the operational speed of the train. Railway is also looking to increase the Vande Bharat train, whether it be the chair car based or the upcoming sleeper version of the Vande Bharat train, which is likely to hit the tracks by year 2026. So with this sort of transformation, railway is looking to provide more convenience to the passengers. Not just this station redevelopment project, one of the ambitious project through this, they are looking to upgrade the existing railway station infrastructure, and most specifically Chennai, Coimbatore, Ernakulam. These are a couple of stations that will be enhanced in next 2 to 3 years. So for Chennai and Coimbatore, railway is also looking to double the existing train capacity by year 2030. So with these sort of steps, railway understand that this will help to not just improve the overall passenger experience, but this will in turn help the railways to earn more revenues in coming years.
From railways to airways now, it's been nearly a month since the Indigo crisis gripped the country's aviation sector in early December, and operations at Indigo have stabilized to a significant extent. However, reports have now emerged that the country's airline market leader may be forced to drop 130 flights from its schedule every day. A quoted analysis of flight schedules points out that Indigo may be doing this in order to comply with DGCA directives over flight rosters. A snapshot reveals that Bengaluru may be the most impacted city, followed by Hyderabad and then Chennai. Samir joins us again with a report of these cancellations and how they're impacting South Indian airport operations. Samir.
India's largest domestic carrier, Indigo, has been severely hit by the aviation regulator order that has resulted that the airline is going to operate 10% less flight of its total capacity. And as a result, Indigo has cancelled roughly around 130 to 140 flights at 94 routes across the country. The maximum flight cancellation is there at Bengaluru Airport, the flight operated from Bengaluru Airport that is having a maximum number of flight cancellation, followed by Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad and Hyderabad. The only sigh of relief for the airline is that from its largest base, Delhi, they have so far not cancelled any flight from Delhi. But if you see the overall capacity of Indigo airline, earlier they used to operate roughly around 2,200 flights daily. But now after the massive flight disruption and the action taken by DGCA, now they have reduced the flight operation by around 130 to 140 per day, and now they are operating roughly around 2,000 flights each day. Indigo is looking to resume the overall capacity very soon, but as of now, they are facing the brunt of the aviation regulator's order.
Shifting focus to Karnataka now, and a drone-powered GIS survey has revealed that as many as 37% of the state's lakes may be encroached, with Bengaluru, not surprisingly, bearing the brunt of these encroachments. According to data submitted to the state legislature, a district-wise breakdown of these encroachments has revealed that as many as 88% of urban Bengaluru's lakes are encroached, while that number is even higher in Bengaluru rural at 90%. Bengaluru South brought up the rear at about 57% encroachments, while Mysuru, Mandaya, Tumkuru, Devanagere, Bellary and Chikmagaluru have nearly half their lakes filled with encroachments. On the other hand, lakes in districts like Yadgir, Kalaburgi and Udupi have performed the best, seeing fewest encroachments when compared to other parts of the state. Staying with Karnataka, tensions have now risen between the government here and Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. In a social media post from over the weekend, the Kerala Chief Minister said The Karnataka government's anti-encroachment drive near Yelahanka was quote-unquote shocking and painful, especially as it targeted Muslim-dominant areas. The Kerala Chief Minister compared the anti-encroachment actions to that of North Indian bulldozer justice, which has in recent times become a much criticized extra-constitutional form of justice in states like Uttar Pradesh. Hitting back at Vijayan, Bangalore's Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar clarified that no bulldozers were in fact used to carry out the anti-encroachment drive, while dismissing the Kerala Chief Minister's remarks as purely political. Shivkumar also made it clear that another state government ought not to interfere in decisions taken by a democratically elected one like that of Karnataka's government itself.
There is a war of words between Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan over the demolition in Karnataka state capital Bengaluru, where a bulldozer action was taken out in a Muslim area, in a Muslim community, Fakir Colony. Now, the Chief Minister of Kerala has hit out at this action of the Karnataka government, questioning what was the need to do so when they talk about, when they say that the government is for the people. This action has been questioned, saying that at a time when it is winters, where will these displaced families go? And also, the Chief Minister of Kerala has compared this action to bulldozer action in North India, to which Siddaramaiah, the Karnataka Chief Minister, has hit back and said that if the Chief Minister of Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, doesn't know the facts, then he should first read upon that and only then comment on such issues. Not just Siddaramaiah, in fact, the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, D.K. Shivkumar, has also hit out at the Chief Minister of Kerala over this issue. Meanwhile, a delegation led by CPM MP Rahim visited the area, spoke to the families and hit out at this bulldozer action. While overall India Alliance, CPM and Congress are part of the India bloc, all seems to be not good between the Karnataka government, Congress party and CPM government here in Kerala. While the bulldozer action has already been carried out, the Chief Minister of Kerala is questioning the state government over this issue.
Moving on to a South Central special next. In 2025, South India emerged as one of the fastest growing hubs for data center and AI infrastructure investments, driven purely by global hyperscalers as well as domestic technology players. The most headline-grabbing development was that of Google's commitment to invest around $15 billion over the next 5 years to build a gigawatt-scale AI data center and innovation hub in Vizag, one of the largest technology bets in India outside of the US. Today, that project is expected to catalyze the region's digital ecosystem by coupling high-performance compute capacity with subsea cable landing infra and renewable power. And all this while potentially generating hundreds of thousands of jobs during construction and operations. But Google wasn't the only name to go big on data centers here. Reliance Industries' JV, that's Digital Connections, has signed an MOU for $11 billion data center campus in the same region, while Meta, Sifi, and other hyperscale operators are also committing multi-gigawatt capacity projects, collectively transforming Visakhapatnam into a major tech and cloud services corridor. Beyond Andhra, significant investments are shaping South India's tech infrastructure landscape. Telangana has attracted data center commitments worth 3,500 crore rupees from names like ST Telemedia for an AI-ready campus near Hyderabad, while the Adani Group is setting up a 2,500 crore rupee green data center focusing on cloud and AI workloads in the state. To speak to us about all these investments through 2025 and to tell us what's in store in 2026, I am now joined by Rachit from JLL, who heads the APAC region for data centers itself. Rachit, firstly, thanks so much for joining us in the broadcast. Do tell us, first question to you. You've heard that data. It's been an eventful year for data center investments in South India. How would you now summarize the year that has been in this space?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jude, and thanks for having me today on this show. 2025 has been very exciting. There have been many ups and downs. The year started with a little bit of a a worry moment when we had the U.S. government come out with the chip diffusion framework, and very quickly, the story kept developing from there, and coming from there now where we are. In India, where we are seeing there's so many new announcements that are coming in over the last couple of months, it's really exciting. Where we're sitting right now, I think if we just summarize some of the big global hyperscalers, the kind of announcements that they have made, it's almost to the tune of $50 billion of investments that they are making in data center infrastructure in India. Separately, a lot of the domestic players have made announcements to the tune of $30 billion. So there's heavy amount of investment which is coming into India. It's exciting times, and India really stands to gain in a big way by attracting a lot of international AI demand into India.
Right, thanks for sharing those insights with us, Rachit. Now, as per JLL data itself, what was the data center inventory addition like in 2025, and what was absorption like in this segment?
Yeah. So if we really look at and the way we look at data, we map the amount of land which is getting transacted, how much power is getting associated with land and actually coming to the site, how much of data center shell is getting built, and how much of the MEP is actually getting installed, which is the actual data center capacity. So when we publish our data, we're looking at the actual MEP data center build, which is coming up, and that's getting spoken for. We released our numbers mid-year, according to which, roughly around 98 megawatts of new capacity, pre-committed capacity that got commissioned in the first half of the year. We're still getting close to the year end, and we've got our final numbers coming through. But that number for the total year should land up roughly between 220 to 240 megawatts per se.
Well, no doubt, some encouraging statistics recorded here. So, which were some of the big deals in 2025 that made it a standout year for data center investments in the country, Rajat?
Yeah, I think the big superhero in the India story really has been Vishakhapatnam, and Vishakhapatnam has received a lot of new investment. There's some of the large hyperscalers who have committed to bring a lot of their global AI workloads into India, into Vizag, which is really a very interesting story. The other city which is getting to benefit a lot is the Hyderabad city, and Hyderabad there's a lot of absorption which is also picking up. There's a combination of self build by some of the large hyperscalers, as well as a lot of the Indian large financial institutions which are continuing to grow in that market. But along with that, there's a lot of activity by and stimulus by the government, with new data center operators bringing in new capacity in that market. So those two markets have been the most exciting per se.
No, I'm glad you bring up Vizag and Hyderabad, because while Mumbai and Chennai have been traditional data center hubs, Andhra and Telangana have caught up with the rest this year. How did that come to be, and what was the game plan followed by both these states to ensure that they become serious contenders in data center investments?
I think Vishakhapatnam, a lot of credit goes to the current government over there, and the kind of focus that they have brought in. Under the current leadership, there's been a lot of lobbying. There's a lot of road shows that have happened, and we've been, as India, we've been able to attract a lot of interesting investment over there. So I think what we need to look at is, number one, is that Vishakhapatnam offers a really good, diverse location for landing subsea cables. And some of the big subsea cable systems, global subsea cable systems, which are now getting landed in Visakhapatnam. It's a big story, right? And the moment these cables start getting landed there, there's going to be further growth story. The second thing that is happening is large big tech believing in the Vizag story and them coming in. But when that get clubs with Indian government's intent in continuing to invest in infrastructure, bringing power infrastructure, water infrastructure, network infrastructure into the state and into the city, that really lays the foundation for a long-term growth story for us. So that's about Visakhapatnam. Hyderabad, uh, as a city, again, infrastructure has already been there. We saw some of the big hyperscalers entering that market a few years ago. A lot of those deliveries have started coming in, and it's proven to be a very, very good, strong, resilient location. So that is why a lot of the growth is now coming into that city. Don't get me wrong, cities like Mumbai are absolutely on the top. There's a lot of growth which is happening in Mumbai, and you really can't go away from that. There are other stories around cities like Jamnagar also where growth is going to come, but Vizag and Hyderabad really are the stars in our South India right now.
Right, so let's look ahead now. What's the outlook like for 2026 so far as capacity adoption, investments, and absorption of data centers is concerned? Where do data centers go from here into the new year on all three fronts?
Jude, we're at a very interesting point in history, right? Until now, we used to see growth from Indian financial sector, Indian regulated companies or Indian companies, which are largely the enterprise demand. We were also seeing a lot of growth from cloud, from large hyperscalers bringing cloud growth. But what's really, really changed is that India has somewhere started to change the narrative where, with our infrastructure availability, power infra availability, our development skills availability, and development opportunity over here, we are able to offer very low cost and economical solution for a lot of the US and global AI labs to host their training workloads in India. Now that is something which is really accelerating a lot of the demand, and we're going to hear a lot more of announcements coming in. Already the deals which have been transacted over the last 12 to 18 months, we expect that a lot of those deliveries will start coming online next year. In our expectation is that the actual delivery of capacity in 2026 should be somewhere north of 400 megawatts, which means whatever we're doing in 2025, we're going to double that in 2026, just in terms of delivery. And along with that, we are expecting a bunch of more very, very large investment announcements coming in. So very exciting days. And this is definitely a sector to keep our eyeballs on. So exciting times.
Well, Rashid Mohan, thanks so much for joining us and breaking down some of the insights. Great speaking to you as always. Moving on then, now some tragic news from Andhra Pradesh has emerged where one person has died after coaches of the Ernakulam Express caught fire near Elamanchi. The incident broke out in the B1 coach at around midnight. The loco pilot is then reported to have halted the train and railway personnel began dousing the flames. Now, while the evacuation that followed was mostly successful, authorities say one person succumbed to the fire itself. The Railways has now launched an investigation to probe the cause of the fire. Moving on, but keeping with fire incidents, the Hyderabad area has reported a steady rise in fire accidents through 2025, with incidents rising by 4.2% in comparison to last year. According to reports quoting fire statistics, Hyderabad reported as many as 835 fire accidents this year, up significantly from the 801 that were reported in 2024 and 767 in 2023. February and March saw the worst fire accidents in the city, recording as many as 114 and 117 incidents respectively. The monsoon months, though, saw some lull with just 35 or 31 fires rather in August and 34 in September. December alone, though, has seen 78 fires thus far this year. Well, and before we end, let's leave you with visuals of President Draupadi Murmu taking a submarine sortie on board the INS Vagshir. The president boarded that Kalvari-class submarine from the Karwar Naval Harbour in North Karnataka and went underwater in India's western seaboard. And with that sortie, President Murmu now becomes only the second Indian president to go on board a naval submarine. President Kalam, remember, was the first. And well, with that, we've reached the end of our bulletin today. Thanks so much for watching South Central. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow with more news and updates from the region. For the moment, it's goodbye from us.